You do not. So what do you have to do? It's leaking. Undo it all the way. Straight up. No, you do not. What did I do with Bissa? Masterpiece he's been working on. So he's just shoved the can up the chook's ass. So me and Dylan are going to replace the can. He's going to shock when he goes to serve dinner. This looks unbelievable.
G'day guys, I'm joined by Mark Orville, aka Angry Dad. How are you, mate?
G'day Jace, how you going, mate?
I'm good, mate. Yourself?
Oh, hanging in there like everyone else.
Yeah, it's bloody crazy, isn't it? It's a
It
crazy
is.
time. It's hard to see what's happening, mate. I mean, things are starting to slowly get lifted up, Mark, but it's
Yeah, other than my waistline, mate, that's dangling a bit more. So
join the club. Bloody unreal. I know that's for certain. You know, you go to that's all we're doing is going to the fridge and eating. It's bloody boredom and
we got three fridges here, so it's actually even worse. Sharon's actually hired traffic management, so I've got a Sheila of each fridge with a stop sign. I can't get near the fridges.
Yeah, mate, I can only imagine it's bloody tough, mate. But no, mate, thanks for coming on for a yarn. I really appreciate it. And for those at home, people like myself and millions of others around the world have seen you all over Facebook with your boys, Dylan and Mitch, with Angry Dad, mate. And what a bloody crazy time. It's just seemed to exploded for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, look, it's crazy, isn't it, when you think about it? I mean, my whole thinking around the thing is the world's gone mad, but the thing that's sort of come out or sort of shone out for me with all of it is society's need for a laugh. And unfortunately, what's happened is at my expense, people are getting that laugh. But when I look at it, if that's my contribution to the world that I leave behind, that I've helped some people that have been in some pretty dark places get through what would have otherwise been shit days and make them laugh and feel happy again, well, you know what? I'm happy to suck it up, to be honest, Jace.
Yeah, good on you, mate. Good on you. Well, it's just bloody unreal, mate. I remember, I'm trying to think of the first time I would have seen you guys on Facebook when all the Angry Dad type of stuff kicked off, and I remember laughing my bloody head off, but I felt so sorry for you because I thought, Jesus, and my old man said, Christ, mate, I'd kill you if you did that.
Yeah, I think I left my run too late. I should have bashed them a bit earlier, but when they started doing all this sort of shit, they'd already matured and they were bigger and stronger, and as much as I'd pretend it didn't hurt if they hit me or whatever, it bloody hurt. So I didn't have much chance when I had two sort of decent strapping lads trying to take me on. So I was almost had to put the white flag up from the outset.
Yeah, bloody unreal, mate. Mate, what are you missing the most, Mark, about like all this, mate, being in isolation? Things are slowly starting to get lifted, but what are you looking forward to the most?
Oh, look, you know, I'm missing the grandson, to be honest. Dylan's got a little 9-month-old Bo, and
congratulations,
we're watching him grow up over FaceTime, and when it's your first, it's pretty bloody hard, considering they only live about 40 minutes from us. But, you know, it's about, you know, respecting the rules and the regs that are applying to everyone. And if we all do it, like you mentioned, we'll come out the other side quicker. So that's what we need to do. That's a sacrifice, but it is bloody hard just watching him and not being able to give him a hug and a cuddle and, you know, have him sort of familiarise himself with us because he's so young. You know, they forget you pretty quick.
Yeah, mate. Look, that's a huge congratulations in order for that too, mate. That's amazing. A beautiful, brand new grandchild, mate. It's great. You've got another one on the way.
Yeah, Mitch and Chloe have got one due. Another little boy. They've sort of come out and said that, but a little boy in August. So again, we'll probably get to meet him via FaceTime because I don't think, you know, domestic flights and that will have lifted by then. So Sharon pretty much cries herself to sleep every night just thinking about that. But we just have to suck it up. It is what it is.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, the boys have moved out. Hey, they don't live at home anymore, so you got a bit of freedom there. You're not walking on eggshells all the time.
Yeah, a bit of freedom, bit of peace. That's sort of, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't see him as much as I would otherwise like to. But again, I don't have to look over my shoulder either, because I've got my house to myself.
Yeah, good on you, mate. Absolutely, Mike. I've got to ask you, mate. Like the whole like angry dad thing. Um, you guys have like exploded. You've got 1.2 million followers on Facebook, 200,000 YouTube subscribers, and this thing come around completely organically. Like from what I gather, that none of this was ever planned. It was just a prank on their old man.
Do you know how? Yeah, it was absolutely. And I think even the boys talk about it when people ask them. They've never spent a cent pushing it or promoting it or trying to get extra reach, etc. It was just something that happened, and it started with Snapchat and Dylan annoying me when he'd come back home from the Adelaide Crows and sort of shifted back in with us. Snapchat was around. He was getting a reaction, either pinching me on the back of the neck or arm or doing whatever, and his Collingwood sort of reserves teammates were saying, just keep stirring your old man up. He goes nuts. So, it just evolved from there. And I don't know if it's about timing or whatever, but I think the interest purely comes from the relatability, right? Every dad's the same. If you've got delinquent, annoying pricks of kids that you've had enough of and you can only take so much, you just blow your top. And that's just what I do. And I think that's what every bloody dad does.
Yeah. Well, it's true. It's true. Like it's just a natural thing, I think. And I think, I think your reactions with your boys and certain things like that have connected with many people right around the world. And I think your reaction as well to Mitch and Dylan's pranks, because it's not like you knew that they were actually pranking you. So
no, and I think that's the other point, right? Because what happened was that they were opportunistic when they lived with me, because I could be asleep on the couch and next minute I've got a vacuum cleaner shoved halfway up my backside or on my face. But from when they've left, they've had to try and become creative. And the thing is, there's so many that people haven't seen because I've actually worked out they're up to something, and it's on the cutting room floor of their edit suite. So they got. If they don't think these days, they don't get it, and that's why you don't see videos. I mean, they've probably done 3 in the last 9-10 months or something like that, which suits me fine.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, the fame of it all, Mark. The fame of it all. Like,
I think it's infamy, Jace. To be honest, at the end of the day, what it's done for the boys, they've made a few bucks here, there, and everywhere, but not like what people think, right? I can't get a free T-shirt. So for me, the upside to all this has been meeting some unbelievable people, right? And feeling like I've contributed in terms of where people are at in their own life, being down, depressed, sad, and needing an uplift through laughter, because it is the best medicine, we know that. So for me, that's the satisfaction. That's where it comes from. And I'm happy with that, mate. I'm happy with that.
Good on you, mate. That's great. That's great, because myself, many other people, have seen many videos come from you guys, and it's certainly given everyone a laugh. And it's great. It's fun to watch, mate. And it's I guess it's just one of those things that people really connect with and enjoy watching at your expense.
Yeah, exactly.
Mate, you played for Collingwood, eh?
Yeah, I did. It's a bit sad when you reflect, though, and you've had more operations than the games you've played. But, I will say that, like my last senior game was 1988, so 32 years ago. But my phone sort of went a bit nuts yesterday in the morning, and I looked at it, and, the Macedonian Marvel, and you're not a Melbourne guy, but you'll still know Peter Dacos. He was a really good friend of mine. Was in my wedding party when we got married years ago. And he did an interview yesterday because it was like he played his first game, I don't know, 35 years ago, whenever it was, he debuted. So they got him on the radio and had a chat to him. And part of that interview was, about the rebuilding of the club in that mid-80s time when Lee Matthews come there. And I'm waffling a bit here, but Dates in that discussion actually gave me a shout out and suggested that in that sort of era with McGuan, Krasiski, Gavin Brown, and all those superstars that come through, that, he singled me out and said that Mark Orville was probably the best of the litter at that point, but just unfortunately didn't go on. So that's humbling for me as a 52-year-old fat fella that can't even get out of the chair and up the stairs. to look back and reflect that you've even had an impact on someone like him who's an absolute superstar of the game. So I'm chuffed and look back on it with the fondest of memories. As sad as it was, it didn't play out the way I wanted it to be, but that's life, mate. That's life.
It is, mate. It is. That's bloody great. That's fantastic. So you're at home now, obviously, Mark, during all this, and you're home with your wife and your daughter, Sharon and Hannah. They're home.
Yeah, so Hannah still lives here, and of course there's Sharon. So I lock myself in the study pretty much. So like everyone, working from home. So this is my little domain. Get out and get a coffee if I can once a day, just to break up the monotony, etc. But it's working okay. Things are still ticking over, and we've got bits happening and all that. So yeah, I'm not complaining. Everyone else there's a hell of a lot sort of more worse off than me at this point, mate.
Absolutely, mate. There is, and it's a bit like us in the whole entertainment scene. We've all lost our work and stuff like that as well. And, but at the end of the day, there's always light at the end of the tunnel for everybody. And that's, one thing about getting on and having a yarn to people like yourself is to get different opinions on everything and advice for people at home. I think mental health's a big thing too, Mark, at the moment with it all because, being locked up in a house,
very much so.
Things are slowly starting to lift, obviously, which is great. But I think
very much so. I mean, we found ourselves doing jigsaw, playing games, cards, even having a chat around the table at night. And you take that sort of shit for granted and you don't do it. And you look back and say, where's that time gone? And everyone's just got head down in their room, on their phone, etc. So if there is an upside, and I don't sort of want to be flippant here, but if there is an upside, I think a lot of people have realised what's important. It's allowed them the opportunity to reconnect and just sort of recharge and just, re-look at what their priorities are and what's important to them. And I reckon it'll make society a better place. That's a big call. I get that, but I just reckon it will. And I feel for everyone that's lost their jobs. These businesses are doing it tough, but you know what the Aussie spirit's like, mate? Everyone chips in when people are down. And everyone should realise that tomorrow's another day and nothing is ever as bad as it seems at the time. And our spirit is to fight through and come out bigger and better and stronger, when we get through it all.
Good on you, mate. You're an absolute legend, Mark. Thanks so much, mate. That's great. At the end of every chat, mate, that I have a little thing called Curious Questions, and I've got a couple of questions to ask you if that's all right. And
Go for it.
First one is have you been able to maintain motivation during the whole isolation period, mate? And now we're starting to come out the other side of the lockdown aspect. How have you been able to maintain motivation if you have, Mark?
Oh, look, it's been challenging at times. I must admit that because it's so foreign to not only me but to everyone. But I've actually found myself getting up on a number of occasions and going for a walk. Now, this body doesn't move anywhere near as well as it used to. So that in itself has been a struggle, but I've actually done it. And I've also sort of taken some advice from this psychic that we saw a month or so ago and just used some of what she's actually said in terms of, reassessing and checking and doing certain things. And I found that's actually helped big time. And combine all those little things. I've made sure I have a break and have something to eat and the like people should, and that's the advice. And it's worked. And I'm dealing with it okay.
Good on you, mate. Absolutely, mate. Who would be your biggest inspiration in your life, Mark?
Oh, wow. That's a very good question. Wow. My biggest inspiration. Oh, look, I just love my father-in-law to death, and I take nothing away from the fact, that I had my own dad who sadly passed away nearly 4 years ago. But Sharon's dad did it bloody tough in terms of his upbringing and the like, and come through it with flying colours. Genuine, honest, amazing man, and just some of the stories that he shared with me along the journey. He's still alive, but he's got really, really bad dementia and hasn't been able to talk or communicate for 5 odd years. He was a massive inspiration for me at a very basic level, but a level where it has more meaning than, some of the other advice that's shared with you along the way. So yeah, he's like, again, he's 85, 86, but to me, he was like a best mate.
Yeah, great, mate. That's great. And talking about your dad, I'm sorry to hear about him. And I remember seeing a video online of your boys. As much as they take the Nicky out of their
Yeah.
old man, I remember watching the video at Kyle Sanderlands and Jackie O's radio show, and they presented that beautiful photo.
Yep. Yes. Amazing. Incredible. Incredible. And that's something that I'll treasure for my whole life, and it hangs very, very proudly in our cinema room. And look, I look at it every day. Dad left us way too early, 72. Had a lot more to live, but unfortunately, his body packed it in, kidney wise and the like. And yeah, it's coming up to 4 years in about 13 days, so that'll be a tough day to get through, definitely.
Absolutely, mate. Well, mate, I send my love out to you and the family during this time, and thanks so much for coming on for a yarn, Mark. I really appreciate it, mate. It's great. It's always good to have a chat.
Thanks for having a chat, mate. And I'm just glad you weren't filming a fraction earlier, because I was checking out your John Denver Country Roads Take Me Home video on YouTube, song that you were belting out, and I was bouncing around the study, sort of dancing to it, reminiscing pretty much, because it was sort of music that my parents loved and played often. So, ripper song, mate. You've nailed it with that, and good on you. And thanks for actually inviting me on to have a chat, Jace.
Mate, really appreciate it, Mark, and we look forward to seeing some more Angry Dad, eh?
Cheers, mate. Keep well, and talk soon, buddy.
Thanks, champ.